What is up, people of YouTube? I'm your host Vernon. This is Sunset Park. Let's fish that. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it's been almost a year since the last time I fished here at Sunset Park. But before we get into today's fishing session, we need to announce our winners for our competition. So I want to thank each and every one of you who entered the competition. Also, I want to thank everyone who voted by liking some of the comments. And because of all these likes, you guys voted for the winners, and these are our winners. Alright, so congratulations to our winners. You guys need to make contact with me. Down in the video description you will find my contact information, or you can reach out to me via the Finally Fishing website. I need your email info so I can send you guys your prizes. Of course, we're here at Sunset Park. We're going to have lots of duck noises and some airplane noises. But why did I come to Sunset Park today? Well, you guys need to understand that this video actually started at Lake Mead. I was trying to use some shiners to catch some stripers, got skunked on that. Also tried some night crawlers and anchovies, and also my corn setup completely got skunked out there. And that can have a major effect on how you perceive fishing. That is why I made my way out to Sunset Park. I just want to catch a fish, even if it's some small fish, just get my confidence back and start catching some fish. So that is the plan for today. So let's get to fishing. Alright, we have our first fish on. It's going to be a small guy. Indeed, we have ourselves a little small carp. First fish landed. Happy to finally get back on the board with a little fish. There we go, guys. Tiny little carp. Lovely fat one. This one's eating pretty good. Let's get him back into the water. So, not the biggest carp, but luckily we managed to land the fish. I'm feeling a lot better already. Okay, so I chose this time of the year because I know that this body of water is filled with all sorts of small fish. Little bluegill, little carp. You can see him on my little bobber there. I'm already getting some bounces and some hits. That's just some small fish nibbling on my baits. So I'm not going to try and set the hook unless that thing's running and screaming. Even a small little fish will actually sound the alarm. So while I'm getting these little bites, I'm not reacting, only reacting when I hear the alarm scream. This is of course my carp setup. I have that with some corn out there, hoping to maybe find some of the bigger carp and not just the small ones. But these small fish are a lot hungrier and more eager than the big ones. So maybe we're only going to catch some small carp out there today. We'll have to see. On my second rod, however, I'm going to use a different setup. Maybe see if we can find some of the bluegill or anything like that around. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'm seeing quite a lot of small fish around, a little 1-inch fish. I'm not going to try and target them right away. I see some bigger 3 to 4 to 5-inch fish a bit further out. I have a little bobber on there with a hook, so I'm going to cast that out and see whether we get anything on that. Getting some pretty good hits on the carp setup, but no alarm yet. And here we finally have a little bluegill or green sunfish, very elongated, difficult to tell with the young ones, but a little dot there. I think this is rather a little bluegill. Let's get him off the hook. It would be a lot easier to catch these small guys using a smaller piece of bait. But I'm actually not trying to catch the smallest fish. I'm looking for the bigger ones. That's why I'm using a bigger piece of bait, hoping that the bigger ones would rather go for it and get hooked. The small ones are just grabbing and swimming around. But I'm struggling to get this little bobber all the way out where I'm seeing the fish jumping. Little 5-inch fish jumping out there. I'm struggling to get the bobber all the way out there. That's why I'm rather looking next to these little rocks in the shade, whether there might be some bigger fish around here. There we go. Another little fish on. This is why I'm not setting the hook while I'm seeing the bobber moving, but rather waiting for the alarm so we know it actually has the hook. Slightly bigger carp, but still tiny little one. Lots of power in these guys this time of the year. Even the small ones putting up a decent fight. These were probably last year's batch of tiny fish that has grown to around this size this year. Let's get him out of the water. And there we are, second little carp. This one has been caught before. You can see has multiple little sores in his mouth. So this one hasn't learned his lesson. It's been caught multiple times. Get him into the light. You can see the multiple red spots there. That's where he's been hooked before. But that means he is eating rather good. Has to eat to grow, so let's get him back into the water. And off he goes. Alright guys, so when using the big carp bait, every time I wash my hands there's little pieces of corn that goes into the water. That has now brought in some fish, some small guys. I'm seeing some tiny carp that I'm trying to get now, but every time I try to get one of the carp, these little bluegill are a lot more eager. We're not even giving the little nightcrawler enough time to sink down to the bottom for the little carp to get. Slightly bigger. Even though it doesn't have the yellow fins yet, this is a green sunfish. Has a much bigger mouth than the little bluegill. Let's get him back. Alright ladies and gents, I set out this morning to catch some fish just to get my confidence back that I actually can catch fish. I caught 2 small little baby carps and a total of 40 tiny little green sunfish and blue gills. So I was quite successful in getting my confidence back and finally landing some fish. But I've noticed that quite a lot of the fish up shallow are very small. That tells me that if I want to get some bigger fish, I need some more open space so I can actually cast my baits out further to try and find the bigger mummies and daddies of all these small little fish. So for the next few hours, I'm going to soak some baits out there in the deep. Out there I got my carp setup, and my second setup I'm going to change things up to try and catch some bigger fish. Alright, so I've already been getting some hits, but no major takes, nothing sounding the alarm. But on my second little setup, I'm going to be using a Carolina rig, and on that I have a big circle hook with some shrimp. I'm using shrimp because we know they do stock these waters with channel catfish, so maybe using a bigger bait so that the small fish won't be able to get it off might be the key to finding these fish. Alright, ladies and gents, after 2 years of making YouTube videos, it's quite easy to sometimes forget that I'm just a regular guy out there making fishing videos. What I mean by this is there's lots of times I actually go out fishing and also get skunked. That is why today's mission was to just get out here and catch some fish to at least get my confidence back up that I can catch fish. Now, I did catch quite a lot of fish out there. I got something like an hour and a half footage of me catching small little fish, but I'm not going to show you guys all the footage because if you've seen one small fish, you've kind of seen them all. I've since spent a couple of hours out here trying to find some bigger fish, some of the big carp that we know should be in here, also some of the stocked channel catfish. But even the shrimps I got out there for the channel catfish, even those shrimps are being teared to shreds by these little fish, and that might just be the problem fishing this time of year. The small fish are quite active. It seems like the bigger fish are kind of slowing down to allow the offspring to fatten up before we head into fall. But this is actually a pretty good time if you want to do some fishing with your children. This is a great time to get out here using small hooks. Try to stay away from treble hooks. We don't want to harm the fish, but find the smallest hook you can using some night crawlers. You don't even have to cast out far. They're a few feet just in front of us. But I think that's how we're going to end this video. I want to thank you guys for following me on this trip. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, do give me a little thumbs up. Feel free to ask any questions down in the comments. If you've not subscribed to the channel yet, it's a big red button. You can hit that. It will turn gray saying subscribed. Alright, but hopefully next time around we'll get some better fish. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time.